Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2 and today we will cover what did you do last week, form, meaning and function. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, so let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to compare simple present to simple past sentences and know the difference between these two tenses. Before we do this, let's make a quick revision on our last lesson. Last lesson, we had a writing lesson, and one of the exercises that we talked about, which is when I ask you to work in small groups to take about your favorite food and find out how can you make such food. And I also ask you to discuss among your friend or the group that you have chosen, discuss the ingredients, the things that you would use to make such food. And also we have talked about the sequence words when we're trying to write any text. We said that especially when we're talking about steps or when we're talking about instructions, when we're making food. So we must use what we call the sequence words. So here we have example of sequence words like, for example, first, next, then, after that, and finally. And we said that we usually use them when we talk about how to make a certain food. For example, to boil an egg, first, boil the water in a pot. Next, put the egg into the water. Then wait 3 to 5 minutes. After that, remove the egg from the water. Finally, serve the egg. So this is only a simple example that we have learned last time about how can we use the sequence words properly. Not only this, but also we have learned how can we use what we call the time words. Time words like, for example, when and until. And we gave example of this when we say, fry the onion in oil until it is golden brown. When the water boils, put the spaghetti in the pot. So until and when also indicates time when we use them when we're talking about how to make food. And also we have answered the exercise B where we have a recipe, and what we need to do is to read the recipe and try to use the sequence words and also the time words as we can see here. So here we have a sample, as you can see, where we have the ingredients on how to make a pancake, and here we have instructions. And what we need to do is we have learned how to use the sequence words and also the time words with these instructions. So as you can see here, this is how we answered that question from last lesson. Here we use, and we said that the most important thing is that we start with the first sequence word, which is first, and we end the instructions, as you can see here, with the word finally. What comes among these two instructions, we can use either next or after that or then with no specific order. So we have learned this, and not this also, but also with exercise C, we made our own recipe. We wrote our own recipe on our favorite food, and I gave example of an egg sandwich. And I said that you can choose, you can bake any food that you like, and you can write down the steps on how to make that food using the sequence words and also time words, as I did here. So here I gave an example of an egg sandwich, one of my favorite food. And the first thing I did is that I wrote the ingredients, as you can see here in green. And after this, I start to write down the instructions on how to make that food. So as you can see here, the most important thing here, not writing not only the instructions themselves, but also the sequence words. What is the first step? What is the steps that follows? And I use words like first, then, when, next, after that, and finally. I also encouraged you to do the same or to write the same. And finally, as a project, I ask you to prepare a presentation on any regional dish in your country any popular dish that people in your country usually have or usually enjoy. Just made a presentation, a simple one, like the one we read in this unit. Talk about your favorite food, bring pictures from different sources about that popular or regional dish, and also write down or talk about the ingredients on how to make that food and what makes it popular in your country. So I ask you to do this as well. So now let's start with our lesson here. I would like you please to open your books on page 71. I would like you please to open your books on page 71. On page 71, as you can see, here we're going to learn the differences between the simple present and the simple past. So let's begin with the first one, the simple present. We usually use the simple present to talk about permanent actions like habits or routines. And also we often use the adverbs of frequency such as always, usually, often, rarely, or never with this tense. So we usually use the simple present for habits, for routines, the things that I do every day. I use for it the simple present. For example, when I say, I pray 5 times a day. So pray here is in the simple present tense, and I use it because praying, this is something that I do every day. I can use the same. I can say, for example, I go to work every day. So go here is written in the simple present because I'm talking about a habit or routine of myself. So let's let's read a few examples. So here, the first one, Ali phones his family. Ali phones his family. So phoning his family or calling his family is one of the things that Ali usually do. And we can use either, here we have the time expressions. We can say every day, every Friday, every week. What's important here is that he continued to do that thing. He is continued to call his family. So this is why he became like a habit for him, whether he do it every day or every Friday or even every week. Next, the other example, this is how to make question on the simple present tense. Does Ali phone his family? And here we say the question tool, which is does written in the simple present tense. Does Ali phone his family on Mondays or on weekend? So here again, using these time expressions indicates that that thing that Ali does is something out of one of his habits, one of the routines, the things that he regularly do in his time. And also in negative sentence, if we want to indicate that that thing or this is not a habit of Ali and Ali do not do that thing, we can use the simple present in the negative form, as we can see here. So here the third example we have is Ali doesn't phone his family. Ali doesn't phone his family. And here we can also use the time expressions. Either we can say once a week, 3 times a month. The most important thing that it is a regular action, and since it's a regular action, then we use the simple present. So this is the first thing we need to learn about the simple present, which is a tense that we use it for regular activities of our own. So now let's talk about you, and you can answer me these questions. I'm going to ask you questions, and you will find yourself answering these questions with the simple present tense. For example, the first question I have for you is, how often do you brush your teeth? How often do you brush your teeth? If someone asked me this question, I would say, I brush my teeth every day. I brush my teeth every day. So I use the verb brush. This is in simple present. Why? Because this is something regular. This is something happens every day. Next, when do we have English class? When do we have English class? You may say that we have English class 4 times a week. 4 times a week. So we have English class. This answer is in the simple present tense. And why is it in the simple present tense? Because this is something regular. This is something frequent that happens every week. Next, how often do you clean your room? How often do you clean your room? I clean my room every weekend. I clean my room every weekend. So my answer is in a simple present. This is something regular. And what time do you usually get up? What time do you usually get up? I usually get up at 7 a.m. I usually get up at 7 a.m. So here I am again. I use the simple present tense in answering all of these questions. So whether we're talking about habits or routines, the most important thing is here that we use the simple present tense. So now let's talk about the other tense we have, which is the simple past. So the simple past, we use the simple past usually to talk about actions that were completed in the past. And also we often use time expressions like, for example, yesterday, last night, 2 years ago, and so on. So the same example with Ali phoning his family, we can use it here, but in the past or the simple past tense. So we can say, Ali phoned his family. Ali phoned his family. And the time expression we can use here is yesterday. Next, in question, we want to ask whether Ali is phoning his family in the past. We can use the question tool in the past, which is in this case did. We can say, did Ali phone his family? Did Ali phone his family last week, or last Friday, or last month? So this is also a question in the past using one of these time expressions. The third one, in a negative form, we can say, Ali didn't phone his family. Ali didn't phone his family 2 days ago. Or Ali didn't phone his family a week ago. So these are the time expressions that we can use them in any form, whether in question or in affirmative sentence or a negative sentence. And why do you use them? Just to indicate, to stress that the action or the time of this sentence is in the simple past. And here is an important note that we can also use adverbs of frequency with the simple past. We can, use the adverbs of frequency like usually, sometimes. We can say, for example, Ali sometimes or I sometimes phoned my family last week. We can say this, so we can also use them in the simple past. So here I'm going to show you 2 sentences. The first one is in the simple present and the second one in the simple past. So the first one here we have is, Ali rides his bike to school every day. Ali rides his bike to school every day. So this sentence is in the simple present. Let's read the sentence in the simple past. Here we are going to say, he rode his bike to school yesterday. He rode his bike to school yesterday. So this is in the simple past. And here, note what we changed in these 2 sentences. We changed 2 things. The first one is the verb itself. The first one here, it's in the simple present tense, and in the second, it is in the simple past. Not only this, but also we added a time expression. The first one, this is a time expression used for a simple present, and the second one, this is a time expression used for the simple past. Now let's read another example. I usually clean my room twice a week. I usually clean my room twice a week. So this is a sentence in a simple present. Let's read a sentence in the simple past. I cleaned my room 2 days ago. So this is in the simple past. And the same with the first one. Here we use cleaned in the past, and here clean in the simple present. And here we use twice a week, which is an expression that indicates that this action happens regularly. And here, 2 days ago indicates that this action has happened in the past. Now, let's try now to answer the first one. Match the phrases to make sentences, and we're going to use each phrase on the right only one. So here we have, on the left we have phrases, and on the right we need to continue these phrases with them just to make a complete sentence. So let's start with the first one. Let me read these for you, and then we're going to trying to match them. So here we have number 1, Sabah finished. Number 2, Sabah always finishes. Number 3, my family and I go on. And number 4, my family and I went on. And number 5, I don't like this art exhibit. And number 6, I didn't like the art exhibit. Number 7, what did you? And number 8, what do you usually? So as you can see here, these phrases, some of them has been written in the simple past and some of them in the simple present. So what we need to do is try to match each of these sentences with the suitable clause here. And the most important thing is that they both have the same tense. So let's start to answer number 1. Number 1 said, Sabah finished, goes with C. Sabah finished her assignment last Monday. Sabah finished her assignment last Monday. And note here that here we use finished in the past, and also we added time expression last Monday, which is also in the past. So now let's answer number 2. Sabah always finishes. Sabah always finishes. So here we need to look for a sentence that is not in the simple past but in the simple present. So Sabah always finishes E, her assignments on time. Sabah always finishes her assignments on time. So let's move on to number 3. My family and I go on vacation twice a year. My family and I go, so this is simple present. My family and I go on a vacation twice a year. So here also twice a year is a time expression, indicates simple present. Number 4, my family and I went on vacation to Malaysia last summer. My family and I went to a vacation to Malaysia last summer. So here we have the verb went, which is in the past. So this is why we choose B, because it has the time expression last summer. So number 5, I don't like this art exhibit because it is boring. I don't like, this is simple present, I don't like this art exhibit because it is boring. Let's see the other sentence, number 6. I didn't like this art exhibit because it was boring. So here it is, which is in the simple present, and here it was the simple past. Continuing next, number 7, what did you have for breakfast this morning? What did you have for breakfast this morning? So here we're talking about something happened in the past. And finally, what do you usually have for breakfast? What do you usually have for breakfast? So this is to talk about something regular, something that you usually have as a routine for breakfast. So here you go. These are the answers of the first question. Now, let us move on to the second question. Here what you need to do is that we're going to complete the sentences with the simple present or the simple past of the verbs that we can see between parentheses. So let's start with the first one. Number 1, my family usually eat dinner at home. My family usually eat dinner at home. So here, since we have the adverbs of frequency, we're going to use eat in the simple present. We're going to say, my family usually eats dinner at home. Let's continue. But last night we go out to an ethnic restaurant. Last night we went out, because we're talking about the past here, last night. The food was quite spicy. The food was quite spicy because we were still talking about that last night. Let's continue with number 2. I rarely stay home on the weekend. I rarely stay home on the weekend. So here, because we have the adverbs of frequency, but last Sunday, I didn't go out. Last Sunday, this is in the past, so this is why we use didn't go. I cleaned out my closet. I cleaned out my closet. So this is also in the simple past. Number 3, when she was younger, here I'm talking about a previous time, a time in the past. When she was younger, my sister didn't like coffee. When she was younger, my sister didn't like coffee, because that sentence is still in the past. But let's see the other sentence. Now, in the present. Now she drinks coffee every day. Now she drinks coffee every day. Number 4. I always, adverbs of frequency, I always study. I spent the weekend studying for the test. I spent the weekend studying for the test, but now in the present, I don't know any of the answers. But now we're talking about the present here. I don't know any of the answers. Now, let's continue the other part of this question. Number 5, our team plays a football match once a week. So here, once a week is also to talk about something that frequently happened. 2 weeks ago in the past, we lost, but last week we won. 2 weeks ago in the past we lost, but last week also in the past we won. Number 6, when my father went to college, he often rode his bike. When, this is also indicates the past. When my father went to college, he often rode his bike. Now he drives to work every day. Now, in the present, he drives to work every day. Number 7, I usually don't speak English outside of class, but yesterday, in the past, I gave directions to some British tourists. They said that my English was excellent. Now, the last one we have, number 8. Did you take my keys? I searched everywhere, but I can't find them. I always leave them on my desk. So here you go. These are the answers of exercise B. It's very simple that how can we learn the difference between the simple past and the simple present. Now, we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.